Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for another edition of YBMcast. And as you can see over there, I don't know if you can see through the curtain, we have our light up there on the air.
I see it.
Cool, huh?
Yeah.
We are on the air.
I think we should face that towards the door.
Probably so, just in case.
Yeah.
If somebody,
walks in on us.
knows we're working.
We'll tell them.
Exactly. Powered by Game 7 Baseball. Game7Baseball.com. Fall ball is upon us. We got, I think, Labor Day coming up. Not this weekend, is it?
I think they play this
Labor
weekend.
Day
I believe this is the first weekend they have it.
They call it fall ball. The fall solstice into the 21st. It's summer to me. I can't help it if they don't, if fall ball isn't played till after September 21st. It's not my fault. I can't do that.
He did get you there.
It is summer. No, he didn't. September 21st. That's the first day of fall. Now, mind you.
Late summer ball. That's what we're going to call it. Late summer ball.
There you go. I'm hip. What was I going to say? I don't even remember. He's messing me up over there.
It's because he got you.
No, he did not. Hey, listen.
He's not
Game 7 Baseball. They got some good stuff. I was going to say something about, I don't know.
The fall. It's not starting until September 21st.
Dave, it was Justin's fault. He messed it all up.
He did
just
not.
So you know.
We roll with the punches. You have to be better than that, Brian.
Oh, it's the gray hair, bro, and that's why it's gray hair.
It's from him?
Yeah.
I see keeps you on your toes.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, anyway, get your team registered for some fall ball coming up this season. Oh, that's what it was. Labor Day's this weekend, right?
Yes.
It is this weekend, Labor Day, so I know that they always start the first weekend after Labor Day. I know some tournament places do Labor Day. I always think, go have some family time, man. There's plenty of time to play baseball. Go have some family time. Get registered. Starts there. Going to be down in Branson first weekend in October. Good stuff. Game7Baseball.com. All right. Let's get into this, man. We're talking. We were talking hats last week. We brought cards last week. We were talking cards. Getting started. Well, here's one part of it. Got some cards here. Do you want if you're a collector? And I think there's that difference between, I believe, collecting and being a collector. Because a collector, in my opinion, is somebody who's really looking for value, and somebody who's collecting baseball. They enjoy the game. They like collecting cards. They have the cards. It's fun, just enjoyment, right?
Yeah,
I really do think that.
And I agree too. And I have a little bit of both because I do look for the value and I do kind of resell them. The card game is, I think, just like anything else that's out there when you kind of reselling items. I talked about it with the hats. You got it with shoes, and streetwear and stuff like that.
Shoes are crazy, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially if you get anything Travis Scott. You can buy $160 shoes off Nike and then flip them for, $1,200-$1,500. But they do. They have some limited cards out there, and it's a fun chase. It reminds me a little bit of being a kid when you went to the store and you were always trying to find the Mark McGwire rookie card. Little did you know there was like 17 million of them, so it's not really worth anything anymore. But now the chase is, because the cards circulating, it's hard to find. And as you just saw, Mickey Mantle just took over the largest purchase auction. I think is $12.6 million for Mickey Mantle rookie card. And just think you might have had one of those in your bike post when you were a kid.
No way.
Yeah. So just took over Trout's by a long shot. So
because the last I remember, it was like Honus Wagner's card.
Yeah. So just up until I think right around COVID, which is always interested me because COVID's around. It's like nobody's working, and I'm trying to figure out how some of these people are getting cash, but maybe they had to spend it in another fashion, so they invested in the baseball card. But that the Superfractor, which is a 101 auto of Mike Trout, graded, went for several $1 million. I think it was 3 to 5. I would be lying if I knew. I didn't really pay attention to it. And then this Mickey Mantle 52 or whatever it was just went through the roof.
Wow.
I believe it's graded. I didn't look at it. I know it's circulating all over the card world when it happened, and I've kind of been a little phasing out a little bit just because I've been so darn busy. I really haven't been paying attention to the card game. Baseball is always interesting because the volume of athletes.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you don't
it's
know,
definitely more than like basketball and things of that nature.
Yeah, you know who your basketball guys are when they come up and they get drafted, and you got a first rounder. You're gonna get good money for that athlete. You could have a first rounder never make it past AA ball.
Right.
So you can have one of these first Bowmans, which is that's what everybody seeks, and the guy never make it. And so you can spend, it's like Jason Dominguez for the Yankees. You had Wander Franco. You had Adley Rutschman. These guys had all, obviously they're all good anyways, but you have some guys that have been busts. The Randy Arozarena, when he, did his thing in the playoffs, his stuff skyrocketed. And now he's just an average. He's a good baseball player, obviously.
Yeah, he's a good baseball player.
His stuff in resale is not the same. So if you invested in a guy like that.
And not to mention, he's playing for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, small. It's a very small market, and
right?
He probably doesn't get out there.
That doesn't help, does it?
No. Wander Franco just was these guys are the next generation guys. That's what they're considering, the Tatises of the world. That's the next generation, and so that's what Wander Franco, Julio Rodriguez, some of these dudes.
Comment below on. I want to hear your comments, folks. Put your comment below and what you think about baseball cards trading. Are you a collector or just collecting cards? That's curious. I'd love. Please, let's see what you got there. Okay.
Collecting's a lot of volume.
Yeah.
Tubs and totes full of cards.
I was looking at this, and there are five grading companies that I found. And one was professional. The number one, they said number one best was Professional Sports Authenticator. Second, of course, Beckett Grading Services. I've known Beckett, always had the Beckett guide. Sports Card Guarantee, Hybrid Grading Approach, and Certified Sports Guarantee. So out of those, what are we looking at here?
You actually have a few more that are out there that are smaller that are creating. Like I have an FCG here, which is a forensic card grading, which is a lot to do with computers grading instead of the individual grading. So I actually have some of those in here. I have some older Beckett stuff that's been done, and then I have some FGC. I have some of the HGA, which is that hybrid. The only thing I don't have in here is any of the SGC.
The Sports Card Guarantee?
Or SCG, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
And they actually have a really good... They're priced very well. They have a very good turn time on their grading system, and they do a really good job with vintage cards. Because vintage cards are obviously very difficult to, because it's different cardboard. It's obviously spent times in a box. So PSA is the one that seems to be the one that holds the biggest value. You see a lot of people that will use Beckett to send their autograph cards to, because Beckett will grade the autograph and the card. I'll give it a grade.
And that's what you got a little bit right there. That's Beckett right there.
So, yeah, I brought this one. This was that Warren Spahn that I actually brought last week, just to kind of show that they also do authentication.
Yeah.
So this isn't necessarily a graded something. This is an authentication. So let's say you went down to the Cardinals game or your favorite team, and you're trying to get an autograph. They sign a card. You can send that off to a grading company. So PSA, I think, calls it their DNA or something like that, and Beckett's the authentic autograph or something. I think that how they classify that, and I think that's really, other than sending it to JSA, those are the really kind of the autograph authenticators. I actually have a Brooks Robinson 1960 something Sporting News card that is hand signed by him that I'm sending off to get to Beckett. to have authenticated, and then slabbed. The card is not in great shape. It's a vintage card, so if it came back a 4, I would be, just
ecstatic.
Super, I'd be excited. So it'd be fun.
These are your first Bowmans, and those are the HGRs. That's the HGA, excuse me, hybrid grading approach. What, you got these graded because
the player.
Okay.
One of the things that you'll see here is I brought a few different things that you would look at and go, why in the world would you ever grade a card like that? And some people do that. Some people like graded cards to keep them in the slabs. They don't really necessarily care about the grades of the card, or they're a big fan. But if you get a good centered card and it grades a 10, you might get an extra few bucks out of that card. I know that when you're talking about a big time prospect, if you get a 10, you're getting some value.
So he's got Jordan Walker here. These are all Cardinals. Of course, Dylan Carlson and Nolan Gorman, which we're all seeing playing here. I think that's interesting. The centering to me, so when they're printing them, if they're not all centered in the print, will they not be all centered, period?
Well, they make sheets, and so obviously some of the sheets can be 10s, and some of the sheets can be 9s. Some of the sheets can be very worse. Wow, sorry.
I understood.
It's early. I'm a baseball player, so it has nothing to do. I was not good at spelling, grammar, or my
What
English.
is it, English?
Yeah, I'm not sure. What's interesting about these cards, too, though, is like the Dylan Carlson here is just a standard chrome card. And they'll list that on top. And you can actually send this in and tell them what you want, as far as it says 2016 Bowman Draft Chrome and the card number. What I like about HGA and what they did is they kind of color match their label to the player's team.
Oh, that's
So
okay,
you see how the forensics is just, it's black. The Beckett's got the gold. The PSA's got the red and white. And then you have these Cardinals that are in the navy and red. Now you can have black and silver for like your White Sox. Like I have a White Sox one at home. I just brought mostly Cardinal stuff and a couple of weird grades. But like this one right here, this Jordan Walker's a refractor, and so as you can see, it has a little gold shimmer that's a little rainbow color.
I see that.
And so that's a nice card. Looks good. Looks clean. And that. This card really, graded at a 9, probably is just as good as if I took it out and sold it.
Now, this is one that's interesting to me. It's got an autograph. And it's numbered.
Correct. Serial numbered.
What about this one and grading?
So serial numbered cards are obviously great to have because that's only that number of print. So there's only 150 of those cards autographed in that color. And
I want to ask you, you sent this one to Forensic Card Grading. Was there a reason you sent it to that company?
I actually bought that card. I bought a lot of, when I say a lot, not literally a lot, but, it would be 40 cards or something from a Cardinal collector or a guy, and so I bought that from him. So I never personally have dealt with FCG.
And that's Ivan Herrera.
Yes, that's the Cardinals' young catcher that's supposed to be the future.
Yeah. Edges were 10. That's the only perfect 10 on there, and it's a 9.0 mint. So this card here, value-wise, it will hold pretty good at 9. 9 is a lot of what I see in here. You see, this one's a 9.5, and this was from Beckett Grading Services. This is another autographed Young Signatures, Chris Duncan.
Yeah. This is probably the one card I'll never get rid of. I have a few Chris Duncan cards.
Right.
I just happened, basically, not even from his playing career or the reason why he passed away. It's what he was on the radio. He was so much fun. He was on the radio, but you see on this one, it's up. The card is horizontal and then the grade is vertical, but. This is a 9.5 for the card, and then they grade the signature, and that signature graded as a 10. You'll actually see where they'll grade something and it'll miss a mark, or it'll have a fade in the signature. They won't grade it a 10. To kind of go off this is to look at the PSA. This is a Fernando Tatis generational talent. It's numbered to 25, so there's only 25 of these cards. This is a graded a 10. I did not grade the autograph. That is because it is a sticker.
Oh.
So this is an on sticker. So what they'll do, like you look at the Duncan and you look at the Herrera, these, and I'm not sure if you can see them on there, but this is on the card, and the player actually signs these. This is on the sticker where they don't sign the card; they sign stickers, and it'll be a 100 and
I see that. Yeah.
Whatever it is. I'm going to shoot 100 for easy numbers.
I know what you're talking about. It's like in a sheet, right?
Yep, and and then they peel that sticker off and they slap it on the card, and so. The reason you don't grade this one is half the signature is off the sticker.
I see that.
And so while it's great to have a 10, it's great to have this kind of card, this rookie card, the set that it was in, and then numbered to 25, it has a big time value, pre-steroid, getting busted for steroids, but. Yeah, this one hurts. By the way,
I know that hurt big. Right?
But it's a really neat looking card. The way that his hair, the glasses, the whole nine, and it's just ruined by having it on a sticker. So some people frown on that stuff. As a collector, if you're going to try to showcase that card, you don't want that signature being cut off.
We're going to bust a pack of cards here in a minute. We're going to get the old guru over here. But first, I just want to finish up the segment with
that one.
Whitey Herzog.
They were talking about him last night on TV.
The manager card. You don't see much of these anymore.
No, and that's what I was saying, is that people will grade anything and everything they want.
Yep.
I brought in a David Wells that I got that I found in an estate sale that was in there. I don't know who would grade this unless you were a huge David Wells fan, which I was because he was a big guy, and I have that passion for the big guys. But I mean, come on.
There's no reason to do that.
88 Donruss, which I went like this and was flicking them all over the room, just trying to hit my neighbor for making terrible trades.
It's like rating Bob Uecker, right?
I actually like Bob Uecker.
I do too.
Probably mostly for
last thoughts on card grading. That, to me, right there, what you said, why would you grade a card?
I am going to grade a card that could, personally, because the price of grading right now, I am going to do that on what I project the investment to be, have a good return.
Okay.
So I'm not going to go out and grade an Alec Burleson right now, who is actually... I'm not sure why he's not in the big league club, but he is, hitting low 300s, 20-something jacks again. He's done nothing but rake in the organization. He does not have the prospect name, so he will not chase big dollars. So I wouldn't go out there and get him unless I had a 1-on-1.
Right.
Or a card that you'd want to protect, and that's what these are. These are hard cases, much harder than the ones I brought in last week with the top loaders, and so that again. The investment in the card, you want to protect the card, and then the type of card it is. Ones of ones, absolutely get them done.
There you go. Right there it is, folks. All right, you got a system here on these. You got to show me what you got here. We got 3 packs. It's heritage packs. These are from 2021. And you were like feeling them earlier. I was like, "What are you doing, man?"
Yeah,
he goes, "We got to bust that one." So tell us.
So my thought was and this happens. I've always done this once they started doing inserts where they would put the patches, the game worn jerseys. You'd squeeze one of the packs and it would always feel a little thicker.
Yeah.
Or something of that nature. And I was trying to explain that a couple weeks ago when we first started talking about them, is now companies will put in filler cards.
Yeah, that's
so
what you were
that people
saying.
aren't weighing boxes, because the heavier, the thicker the card, the heavier ultimately. So they're trying to combat against that. Topps doesn't really do that. That's mostly Panini, which is, what used to be Donruss. But, just kind of feeling the pack, how loose the pack was, how tight it was in the pack. And so you'd be like, I want to open this one or save it for last. And then, of course, like anything else, you get one of those, home run derby things that you might win, and you thought it was a fat card or something. They stuck an extra one in there. So I was just playing with them just to kind of see, and this was what I used to do when I was a kid when I go to Target or Walmart. I'd try to check the card.
Does that ruin the edges, though?
Well, that's why I grabbed through the middle.
Okay.
You know, I think
Just checking.
Yeah, I mean, throwing them, you know. Tell me what you think. Tell me.
I have no clue, bro.
Look, touch the cards. Squeeze them.
That one's thicker.
It feels thicker, don't it?
Yes, it does. These two are the same. That one's thicker. It's true. You want to go ahead, bust it, dude.
You bust it.
No.
All right, we'll bust it open.
Get her done.
This is where the fun is.
If we get a good one here, we might do a contest for the viewership.
So these are high numbered. The high number is more of a. We did not get a thick card in there. The high number is kind of like the short series of these for this product. The things that you have to watch out for these are things like the White Sox here. They could have the color flips. They could have nicknames and various short prints on these. And you see how they have the green here and then that yellow. If that's flip-flopped, that could be a short print. So Ronaldo Lopez, Josh, I can't even say his name. I don't even know who he is. Must have been a young rookie. Lorenzo Cain. You got Paul DeYoung that came out of here. Josh James, Mike Ford, Matt Carpenter. And Steven Matz for the Blue Jays. And so if you look at these Cardinals, they're the same. And so on the back of Topps, very small at the bottom, which I'll need my glasses for, they'll have a code on the bottom. Heritage does a really good job of identifying some of their short prints right there in the middle. See it down on the bottom, right underneath your nail print? Yep, that small.
Oh, wow.
And so when you open a pack of cards, you could have a short print. And they'll do everything.
There's a code, yeah.
Yep. And if you go through those cards, you can see if any codes are different. Topps usually makes it obvious with Heritage. That's kind of the big thing for them, whether they'll have no name on there or whatnot.
Well, we got a couple Cardinals out of it.
Yeah. And, Matt Carpenter looks very different without his mustache.
So there we go.
Without his beard.
Nothing of consequence, so we don't really have anything. We'll bust another pack next week. We'll see what we get. We're going to kind of do this. And if we find cards in here that we do this, we'll probably do some contests, give them away. I think it'll be a lot of fun that way. Just have some fun with it, man.
Heck yeah.
Right?
Why not?
Giveaways. So be watching. You never know. You might be able, first one in, gets a card. Never know. Just saying. Let's talk a little bit about club baseball.
Yes.
That's the big deal. We're heading into the off season. Everybody's kind of talking. We got some fall ball again. People are just kind of putting things away. It'll ramp up again. Probably after Thanksgiving you'll have the break again and then January. Boom, boom, boom. Down in the Southwest, we want to talk about the clubs that we're looking at down there. Midwest Mavericks, been around a while. Smaller club, a little more unique look at what they do. The big new shiny one, been around now, this is probably their fourth year, I would imagine. Marucci Midwest, or Midwest Marucci, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's fourth year. 417 Baseball was originally part of that combined with the U.S., what was it? Merriman's group, the Nationals.
The U.S. Nationals?
Not U.S. Nationals, but anyway.
Yeah, you got me.
I think they were called Nationals. I think something like that. Was 417 Nationals, and I believe Hitman. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. Anyway, but it was 3 or 4 clubs, that combined. Well, 417 Baseball's back. They're doing their own thing again. You have a smaller group, smaller club, Southwest Missouri Bombers. They do softball and baseball. There's one here I thought was unique. Southwest Missouri Wolves. They're a really good, solid team, but it's one team. It's independent. You don't see that much anymore.
Nope.
Right? Bros Brothers, which was just bought by, I'm trying to remember Jay's name. We're going to have Jay. We're going to go down there and do a winter workout tour stop with the Bros Brothers. It was just purchased. They're going to do some new things. It's Jim Guccione's brother that did that. So little flavor around here. I met Jay I seen Jim out at a Game 7 tournament and got to talking, and the Bros brothers were out there, and boom, here we are.
We saw them late, and they had some size. There's
Yes.
only a handful of teams I actually had a chance to see on there from my side of playing, and being kind of new into this. You're looking at various sanctions and trying to find out where some of these teams play and things like that. So I'm familiar with a couple of them from looking because they've been in some of the tournaments that we've been in Game 7. But also with now moving up to 15 and 17U, the options are a little bit thinner for the fall. So I'm seeing them in some of the other sanctions that are out there. I'm seeing these teams. So I'm trying to get familiar with them just to kind of see what they're about.
And I think it's interesting to note, you have, Midwest Marucci, or Marucci Midwest. I believe it's Midwest Marucci. Then you have, as we said, the Wow Factor. The Wow Factor is one of those big clubs, national, been at the high school side for a while, starting to move down. Wow Factor Baseball is now in that Springfield area, along with Midland Baseball from Cincinnati. We've got them here. They're national. Matt Shadow, of course, runs that program. So you have three really large national programs sitting in Springfield, Missouri.
There's a lot of good baseball down there. It's still a small town feel, and I think what it is that a lot of these teams might have a central location. It's called Springfield, but really a lot of them are the outskirts of there. They're getting them small towns from Nixa and Lebanon and getting down into Branson, and all those kids are coming up to Springfield to play. And then some of the kids are traveling,
Right.
an hour drive,
Right.
To get over there. So a lot of good baseball down there. We've played the Wow Factor, and that's probably one of the better teams. It's probably the best team that we've played all season, and they didn't beat us as bad as Gas House Basta did, but they have size, they have pitching, and they have a support system.
So you got Wow Factor Midwest, you got Midland Springfield, you have Midwest Marucci. So you've got three large factors there. What do you think that does for that area? Will that draw a lot of the smaller, from the smaller towns, those athletes looking for that type of thing? Do you think that will draw those kids there?
Personally, I don't know much about them as far as their recruiting tactics and things like that. I mean, I know what Midland's going to do because if it's associated with the Matt Shadow and the group, I think he'll do a good job. But again, it's they're probably chasing coaches. These kids are chasing
That's
coaches that are
interesting.
comfortable with because it is a small town. Teams have been playing together for a lot longer. You might take a kid that needs to get out of that, and not in a negative tone either, but needs to get away from that team and needs to progress, and they might go play with a Wow Factor. So I could see where that would matter. But I don't think that they're going to have the problem, kind of like when the prospects kind of first started, everybody wanted to go be a prospect because of what was happening to that group of kids, the talent level that was there. And so I don't know that that'll happen. I think that kind of sailed a long time ago. But I can see kids who want to travel more, parents that have a little deeper pockets, that want to send their kids all over the country to play. And I feel like that's what the Wow Factor is going to do. I mean, they played down in Branson, and they said something like, well, this is going to be one of the few Missouri tournaments we play in.
Oh, wow.
So, they went elsewhere.
And I understand if you have that national level team, go and compete at a national level. But I still think, you want to have those places. And I think sometimes, it depends. And I think this is where parents have to understand, what is the Wow Factor about? What is their mission? What is their goals? What are they as a club? Okay? Midland, what is their mission? What are their goals? What are they as a club? And Marucci Midwest, same thing. When you have these larger scopes, you will see these groups work to compete more to the national level in certain respects. They may still have their lower age levels, but then where do you go? And I think that's where it leaves some of these teams, in my estimation, or some of these clubs like a 417 baseball, a Southwest Missouri Bombers, a Bros Brothers, in there where they have that niche where they can really take and project at the state and regional level.
Absolutely.
Right?
I agree with that piece 100%. And the wow factor has that. When I was looking them up, I was actually kept pulling up the wrong team, trying to put them on Game Changer,
Right.
and I was like, okay, well, they have a bunch of 14U teams. Okay, how many are from this area? I was like, oh, they have another one. So, it's not the same kids. So, they do have one. But, again, that's the second level. We had that last year with our group. We had a better team than my 14U group and Nicodime's team. And that team needed to do more than we did. They needed to play different kinds of tournaments, different kinds of levels. Do your thing, and that's what I'm seeing with these clubs. And so don't get caught up in necessarily the name. If you have that kind of kid, that kind of player, find the team that you feel is going to get that young man to the next level, which he's already going to be super talented anyways. He should be, if that's what you're seeking. Go play for that national group. He's going to be one in a 10,000 anyways, or whatever.
And here's a great thing, and this is why we like to do the tour stops. We got a chance to talk with Midwest Marucci. What was it, Justin? 2020, I believe it was 2020. Maybe it was 2021. I think it was 21. I think it was their second year, and they're not very old. Alex and Ray Kelly, Chris Drawl. Is it Drawley? It's Dralle. I never can. I think it's Drawley. And Randy Merriman. You can go watch the winter workout tour we have with them, what they're doing, what their club's about, the information there. Go check it out. See if it's a fit. Go talk to them. I say this so much. They have great facilities. When we were down there for the high school in Springfield, high school state playoffs, I know there's a lot of people that go, man, why is it in Springfield? Okay, and maybe distance, and there's pros and cons to everything, right?
Springfield's got a nice town. You got a double-A team down there.
It really is nice, and U.S. Ballpark, they had some issues the year before, correcting those. I thought they did a great job this year. I must give the state director from Misha, Justin, look up the baseball Misha state director. I want to get his name because I thought he did a good job. It wasn't because the year before was not good. There was some issues. I thought he did a much better job this year. But nonetheless, Marucci Midwest, that whole complex there, I mean, there's warm-up. You can go in the cage. You can get yourself ready to play baseball. And, I mean, it really is conducive to that setting.
Yeah, I think Springfield has some pretty good darn baseball. And then if you look at just the area in general, it's a nice town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
and then there's Branson.
Well, I mean, I understand the lakes are around there. Yeah. You can go one direction and you go the other direction. You can go to a bunch of big lakes and have some fun. And but in general, like just the town setting going through there, it's nice. It's clean. It's the facilities that I've seen online, they're all nice looking facilities. But if you have a town of 250K, you don't have 15 batting cages.
Right.
Spread out. You have a couple, and then so some of these might be sharing, or some of these might just be a small shed that people are putting, nets up, and so there's some differences. But when you go to look at them, some of these have some really nice, but the fields down there are great. I think the fields are overall real solid down there, and I don't know if it's just because it's a small town field that gets me, and I have that emotion to it. But
right,
obviously St. Louis has got some nice parks, but you got the Double-A field down there and Springfield Cardinals and stuff, and so I like the town of Springfield.
Yeah, and it is, and so baseball. That's the thing. I'm looking forward to going down and seeing the Bros Brothers. Doug Fessler. Thank you, Justin. Good job. Doug Fessler. I want to give some credit there. Doug Fessler, they did a good job. But it's in Fordland, Missouri. And so it's kind of off the beaten path a little bit. They've been around a while. He's taking over that group. And it'll be interesting to see. And I think this is where the heart of your baseball is, in that AA level. And are we working to help those kids continue to grow and whatnot? We understand that, the high profile, the national teams, the prime teams that are going, I love that stuff. I think it's great. But I think all of it's great. I think there's the places that we have these clubs, and continuing to truly develop players at those levels in these clubs, in the Bros Brothers, in the 417. And to be fair, I've looked at 417's website. You should go check it out. They got some good coaches. They have some great opportunities there. Again, I always stress, if you want to, go check out 417's page. They have their teams right here, the coaches, the names. Inquire. Set up a meeting. My son's looking. We'll come to the tryout. And I always think it's always usually one-sided. Come try out, and we're offering your kids, this and whatnot. Well, how about you sit down and tell me what you're going to do for my son? And it doesn't have to be outrageous. What's the training like? What do you believe in? What are your ideas of leadership? What are your ideas of sportsmanship? What are your ideas of hard work and those types of things? I should be able to vet a coach.
Yeah, you hope that when that coach goes out there that they're expressing that information right off the bat to begin with, because that way you can avoid the extra questions. Mm-hmm. If there's some personal things, and once you get that selection, that's when you get some real details. That's when you need to, as a parent, as a player, especially as you get older, start asking necessary questions. I wouldn't at 14 years old say, what are you going to do for my son recruiting-wise?
Yeah, no.
I would be asking, what is your idea of development? And what would you do in long-term for these athletes? And so, when we do our tryouts, I have a plan. I have the season broke down. I have a sheet that I give. I mail out flyers to the group that all register, and I give them as much information as I can before going into the tryout, because if they don't, and if they want to inquire about something, if I'm not the fit, they know then, so they don't have to waste my time, their kids' time, their time to come out and see a tryout if I don't meet their expectations.
Right.
If I have a kid that is AAA talent and that parent says, what level you playing? I say AA, they immediately go elsewhere. That's just one kid I don't have to worry about. And I don't sweat it anymore. I used to. It used to bother me when someone thought that their kid was, a higher level than whatever. But the parents have their own goggles on. So
and I'll go back to this, and I think this really pushed that. Mike Matheny said, "Don't talk to me. Parents are the problem." No, that's my child. I'm not a problem. Learn how to deal with people. If you have a problem with that, I'm sorry. Then I guess maybe you shouldn't be coaching, because especially kids, because that is my child.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, you do have those parents that are overbearing and are sitting in your ear. You should be doing it. I get it. Then cut that kid from your team.
It's easy. I was talking to a coach last night on the phone on the softball side of things, and that coach had cut 4 very good players on his team. They're going to play college ball, and cut them because of the parent. And this was a kid who had all these kids had playing time. 2 of them had significant playing time and were very key roles in the team's success. See ya.
And hopefully, we hope, and if I was the coach, I would say, I'm not, your son's fine. I'm just not going to deal with this, and these are the issues. I hope you work it out somewhere else. And be upfront and honest with people. We're so worried about offending people. That doesn't mean I have to yell and scream or whatnot, but I can express why this is happening. And if it is because of the parent, we need to make sure, and if the parent isn't self-aware enough to understand that, then that's on them.
And most of them probably aren't. But
right, I understand.
And listen,
but it is a small percentage, though.
Yeah, and there's a small percentage of coaches that are really bad
exactly.
too. So this whole thing is we talk about daddy ball and all these different things. Some of the best coaches and most invested coaches you have are parents. It's just a matter of what your expectation going into something and what you think club ball is or what it is supposed to be. You've already mentioned it once. Most of the athletes around this area are AA, if not lower, athletes. The small minority is that AAA major. That's a small percentage of kids.
Yes.
It's a very small percentage of kids, and you have to think about it like everything else. I was just talking about this today about verbal commitments, and why is there 450,000 baseball players and only 40,000 make it and play in college? That's a crazy number. Think about 10%. So if you have 20 kids on your team, 2 of those kids are playing college baseball. Now, granted, I understand the odds are like, at Timberland, we have a majority of our seniors are going, right? So, all of our kids, if they wanted to play baseball, are going to play baseball next year at Timberland. I'm sure Hal's the same way. Mm-hmm. But where are these smaller schools going?
And is it based on choice? And this is where I think some of these clubs, if you vetting coaches and talking to them when they're talking, is that player, if they're playing up at a high level and they're not quite getting where they want to go, and they say, you know what, I've wanted to go to this school for a long time. I want to go there. My grades are good enough. Everything. Baseball isn't in my future at that school, but I'm going to go there because I want the experience. I want to go there for the education. It's the school I've wanted to go to. That's a great decision.
Yeah, because the odds are against you anyways. And
right?
I'm not telling anybody who ever is watching this show, especially if you have young kids watching it, I am not telling you to stop dreaming.
No.
Because if you have dreams, you have goals. And then if you have goals, you have work ethic, because that's what you're trying to get to, right? So don't stop dreaming for those moments of making it. The guy that for the Mets that was doing financial advice or whatever he was doing, and got a call up and started pitching. There's Kurt Warner's story, being a grocery guy and stocker, and then all of a sudden is flipping footballs and winning MVPs and
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So
it's few and far between.
Yes. How many, if you love the story of Kurt Warner, tell me how many NFL Hall of Famers have Kurt Warner's story? Probably only guy. So, just think about those odds. That's why education's important. And I have on my 17U team, we're going to have kids start graduating, and some of those boys want to go play football. So
right.
they're going to sign a D2 small school to play football. Some of the guys are in band, and they're really good, and they're going to college to participate in band. The route is very different, and as you get older, things change. Development changes. You might be on a great program, but you might not get developed. But your single A coach, maybe one of the better coaches, but just doesn't want to deal with the process of a high level team, because if you play on that good of a team, you need to beat up your area, and then you need to go beat up your state, and then you need to go beat up regions, and then you need to go beat up the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And just like Hawaii did in beating in the Little League World Series, 60 runs scored, 5 allowed, or whatever it was, they beat up everybody.
That's it.
Be that group. And that's what I think a lot of these teams are trying to do.
Yeah. And so
at least to have one of those teams.
And that's why we're going to look at the different regions, and we'll come back and we'll probably talk individually about some of these groups a little bit as we do some more research, talk to the coaches. We're going to get ourselves involved in this and discuss and talk about 417 baseball. Hopefully get the director on the show, because that's the goal, is to talk to these guys. I know we can get like the Kellys or Merriman. I'm sure they'd come on the show, and we'll, of course, Matt Shadow, boom, right there. Hoping to get the Wow Factor guy. I looked his name up, want to message him. We're going to talk to these people and bring some awareness. What is the club about? What's the goals? What are you trying to work? Same thing with Fordham. That's what this show is going to be about. We're going to look at these things and really bring that to bear.
I'm excited for that because, again, having conversations with these coaches now, playing Wow Factor, playing Bros Brothers, playing the Midwest, Marucci Midwest, whatever they are, I apologize, but and the Bandits, just being familiar with the Bandits because they're in your backyard. And there is some really good teams in the program. There's some of everybody else. And what I'm finding is that there's coaches and directors really all on the same page, trying to find value for your group.
Yes.
It doesn't always work out, but they are not trying to stick it to you because they want to make their pockets fatter. I am sure there's programs out there that do that. I am sure that there's training programs out there that aren't what you want it to be because you're paying a high dollar price. Pay attention to who's your trainers.
Yep.
Go in, watch what's happening, complain about it if you need to, make the director make a choice. It's happened to me. People were upset that we put too much training in and we weren't that good of a team to have that kind of training. I took all the training away. Guess what they wanted? Training. Okay? So, and that's how you lose kids. You take it away from them, but you have to learn, you have to adapt. And now I think I have a process that's in place that make people happy.
Finding the balance, right?
The balance, because you want everything has a price, and you cannot. Nothing's free, and so if you want my services, you're going to have to pay for my services, and I believe in my services, so I'm not cheap.
Yeah.
So,
and
but you're getting good instruction.
And if your son, your daughter, they want to be a good, solid high school, be contributors, push to a championship, and maybe that's their aspiration, to win a high school championship. We got a good program. I want to be part of that program. I want to be able to hit. And I'm taking some lessons, keep myself in that. And I know I probably won't be that guy that moves up, but I want to be a contributor. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No,
right?
You have to. I'm going back to the GACs because that's what I obviously know the best. Do you know how many guys would love to be in some of these positions, to just be a part-time player in some of these programs, to have that ability with the talent that's there? And I know that that probably stings a little bit because the summer team that you play on, you're probably a regular dude.
Right,
But you got to remember, you are in a town of 100-something thousand people, 200-something thousand people, or whatever it may be, and you are one of 20.
Yes.
To play for that high school team. That's pretty darn good,
yes,
especially in this area. And just because you don't play doesn't mean you can't play in college. But the select level, how many teams are there to pick from?
Oh boy.
You know what I mean? So don't just because you're a starter doesn't mean that you're even good enough to play college baseball. Or even if you wanted to, it is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard to play college baseball, and it only gets more difficult as you progress in your career if you're lucky. Some guys can just rake, as in the guy that I've been following since the winter that we talked to in Justin. Have you even seen what he's doing?
Oh yeah,
man.
I hope Justin gets there. I think he will. I think he's found the attitude, what it takes, and whatnot, and he's putting it together. And good luck to Justin Dearden.
Yeah, he just hit a lefty 457 footer the other day. Leads the organization in doubles, high on base, high average.
He's going to get his opportunity.
They're calling some dudes up. So go follow Sugarland and check out Justin. Justin's been on the show.
Sugarland, Justin Dearden, that's right. If you want to go check out a guy that had a hard road to it, but is having that success and finding that was that second interview we did when he was down in Corpus Christi and talking about those things. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, that's again, him and Braxton, I think, are two great stories from the area about continuing to try to play baseball.
Absolutely, man. Folks, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment below. Leave us what you think here. We're going to get some more opportunities this way with these clubs, talking to folks. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to roll this way through the fall and into the winter workout tour. I think it's going to be a lot of fun talk.
Heck yeah! I just want to see what everybody else is doing. I love it because I like to learn, and if I can learn something from when you go visit Bros Brothers and I get to watch that episode and I hear something, I'm gonna say, that's something I haven't done yet. I'm hoping for those opportunities because it's the kids that I'm serving. And so it's, I think I said that right, maybe not. That's who I care about.
Right.
Right. I owe it to the kids to be my best. I don't owe it to the parents. I don't owe it to myself. I don't owe it for
You owe it to the athlete.
my ego.
Yeah.
It is 100% about the young men and women that come through my facility, and I want to teach them to be the best they can. So I can't wait to see them because they have good programs down there.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to hear about them, see about them.
That'll be fun.
I got one more thing before you hang up. Hello, it's Tuesday. Geez. For those of you who like baseball cards, put some pictures out there in your comment. Picture some of the cool stuff that you have. I'd love to see it. Not that I want to buy it, but would love to see it. Just to see what everybody else is out there collecting.
That's
or
good
being
idea.
a collector. I think it would be a fun little thing. Maybe it's on the Facebook channels. I don't think you can post pictures on YouTube. I'm not 100% sure when you comment. I could be wrong, but I would like to see some of the cards that you guys have. If anybody out there is collecting or a collector like I am, and share what you got.
Yeah, share what you got. If you want to post it up on YBM, Youth Baseball Midwest Facebook, do that too. We'll make sure it's shared and whatnot. You follow us. That's a great idea. I love that. Absolutely. Good stuff. Look at this guy.
I'm learning.
Always thinking.
No, it's because of somebody that works for you who always keeps me on my toes and tells me what to do for my marketing purposes. So
yeah,
your daughter.
She's pretty good.
Yeah. She's like, hey, you doing this? I'm like, I didn't think about that. And then now she's like, the focus I have on Instagram and Facebook has just gotten so much more
better.
Yeah. More better.
More better. That's Mo Better Blues.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no more. No.
I don't know where you're going. I have no idea what you're talking about.
We're going to stop now.
I just shook my head.
Everybody, have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers. Oh, wait. Remember, subscribe. Hit the dinger.
Because that's what we do.
And everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and you hitters.
Getting where they ain't.
And we'll see you next time.